Okay, what's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So, I'm not sure why I'm finding this funny. It's not funny in any way. It's not funny. Good evening. What's up, Trinidad and Tobago? So tonight we're going to talk about, the cancellation of this year's Independence Parade Day, or this year's Independence Day Parade. It's been cancelled. A decision that strikes right at the heart of our nation's national pride, I would say, and one that sort of raises more questions, or most definitely raises more questions than answers, in my opinion. So, the government's oh man. Does anyone know when the winning starts? Could someone tell me when the winning does actually start? Because I don't feel like we're winning anything in a minute. So the government's official reasoning says that the parade and fireworks says that the parade. I'm going to be serious for a minute. So they say that the parade and fireworks are off. They were off the table this year because of the ongoing state of emergency. Their line is this: gathering the president, the cabinet, and the opposition to include the judiciary and the entire defense force in one location is way too risky for Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine that. Imagine that, living in a country that's too risky to get public official in one place. This is why I'm finding this whole thing comical. Instead, they've declared August 31st a National Day of Prayer and Reflection, with only silent fireworks, whatever that is, silent fireworks allowed for private use. So yeah, you go out and buy some silent fireworks and you pop those off and enjoy your Independence Day. So the new justifications. Or that is their justification, is what I'm trying to say. So there's more layers being added to the story. The Ministry of Legal Affairs, Saddam Hussein, and of course the legend himself, Homeland Security, Mr. Roger Alexander, says the TTPS and the armed forces are still dismantling cells that tried to destabilize the country. So that's the reason. I mean, I'm exhausted by the nonsense sometimes that come from these people. You think you had about a week to come up with a very good excuse for this, and this is the best you... Anyway, at the same time, the government has admitted that a large portion of the money saved from the parade and fireworks will be funneled directly into the Ministry of Homeland Security. I'm gonna try and keep a straight face for the rest of this for the rest of this video, the rest of this podcast. Here's the kicker. Trinidad and Tobago is sitting on a $9 billion deficit. A $9 billion deficit, right? Cancelling the parade and redirecting those funds is being framed as responsible governance. But so far, as we can see, they've refused to give the public the exact figures on how much is being saved and how that money will be spent. Maybe Roger's getting a fat pay rise, I don't know, for the great work he's done. Who knows? Why this doesn't add up? Let's pause. Earlier this month, let's be serious. Earlier this month, the police commissioner himself said the threat that triggered the SOE, the state of emergency, was neutralized. Some of you may recall. All of a sudden, destabilization plots are still ongoing. So which is it? Which is it, Commissioner? Which is it, Mr. Alexander? and you know, if this is really about finances, let's not forget that the same government that tells us they cannot afford an Independence Day parade just spent nearly $1 million on a single day visit by the Indian Prime Minister. A visit, by the way, that gave us nothing in return but a photo op. Nothing in return but a photo op. Remember that. So, the question you should ask, really, is this really about saving money? Or is it about what the government chooses to prioritize? Is this about saving money, or is this simply about what this current regime, this current government chooses to prioritize? So for historical context, and remember, this isn't the first time we've been here. So in 2011, we had an SOE. In 2021, we had another SOE. And now again, in 2025, we've had two now. And every time, the same story: soldiers on the streets, temporary drop in crime, then back to business as usual. Nothing ever changes, right? There's a point I'm making here. Nothing changes because SOEs have never been a long-term fix for crime in Trinidad and Tobago. We know that SOE is only a short-term fix to fix a problem that's seen as an emergency. Hence why the name state of emergency. It's not a long-term fix. The people in Trinidad are not stupid, or that stupid not to know this, by the way. So yes, the parade was cancelled in 2020 and 2021, but that was during COVID, if you remember, a global health crisis. So we couldn't really do anything. This time, it's being cancelled under another state of emergency with no clear exit strategy. And at the same time, we are told millions can be spent elsewhere, as I've given reference to. We had no issue spending $1 million on one man's visit in the country. What for? Nothing in return other than a photo op and feel-good factor for certain members of our society. So the real consequences, and here's a hard truth. Cancelling independence celebration or might ease the government's budget, but it damages something far greater, I believe, in my humble opinion, and that's public trust and national unity. It erodes morale. It erodes morale, in my opinion. It sort of diminishes patriotism, that togetherness that we have, and what people gain from this time. It sends the message that in a moment when we should come together as a nation, white, black, Indian, Chinese, whoever you are, our leaders are telling us to stay home and pray instead. Now that's great. I pray. I'm sure a lot of you do. But the bigger picture, to me, and being honest, if I'm being honest, and I talk about this all the time, as you know, if you tune into Trinidad Empowerment Network, crime in this country can be fixed, but not with endless state of emergencies and cancelled parades. The real solutions are long-term. investment in our communities, fixing the education system, creating real opportunities for young people, and essentially tackling corruption at the top whilst building an intelligence-driven police service rather than the nonsense that we kind of have now. And I know I've digressed here to talk about this. I came here to talk about the Independence Parade, but this is all interlinked. This is all interlinked, right? Listen, at the end of the day, the parade is going to be cancelled. I don't think it's going to, it's going to be headline news for a few days, but, it is what it is. And whilst the government is asking us to reflect this Independence Day, the reflection we really need is this. Are we being led with vision here? Or are we being managed with excuses? Because every year we accept the same recycled failures. I want you to remember that. We accept the same recycled failures. So we're not celebrating independence. We are not celebrating independence. We're simply watching it slip further and further away. And I say to you all the time, the definition of madness is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. This is what we are repeatedly doing in Trinidad and Tobago, irregardless of who's in charge, of what government's in charge. And I say to you, and I don't say this lightly, that this country needs a revolution of thoughts, a revolution of leaders, a revolution of mindset. Because we have it within us. We have it within us to do the things this country needs to do to survive. This endless nonsense of state of emergency is not good for this country. It's affecting this country negatively. If I am a businessman wanting to invest in Trinidad and Tobago, and I see that the country is constantly in a state of emergency, I am 99% less likely to want to invest in a country that's deemed so dangerous that the politicians and officials are scared, are too worried to gather in one place. That is dangerous. That is dangerous. Anyway, that's my take. We see how this transpires. Keep liking, please. Please keep subscribing, liking. We're close to 10,000 subs. So let's try and get there in the next week. And I promise you to bring you the best video and the best content as best as I can. Try to improve the content that I bring to you is the name of the game. I'll see you guys on the next video. For now, much love. God bless. Take care. Peace.